Good evening, peeps. Liesl here again. And yeah, tonight, at long last, I'm here to bring to you the completed build of our wonderful all-electric Diddley Bow. Excuse me. And here she is. And I think you would agree, what a beauty. Now, I had a few challenges towards the end with this one, and almost a disaster, but I did manage to save the day, so I will explain. Basically, I tested the pickup and everything as I was doing this, and the way I normally do that is just to tap it when it's plugged in. Seemed okay, but when I fitted it into the body and got everything set up, it wasn't really coming through very well. Like, everything was fine on the amp, but I just wasn't picking up from the strings. So I can only imagine that either I damaged something fitting it into the box, especially because I was pushing it up from inside, which is most likely with me, or maybe there was a fault with the pickup itself, but I think it's most likely me. These are the pitfalls, as we know, and I thought, well, yeah, you know, these things do happen, you know, so yeah, a bit of a mystery really, but not to worry, because I was able to save the day. I thought, no, I'm not having this, we're going to have this under power by this evening. I'll have to replace the pickup. I didn't really fancy taking everything out, but I did find this humongous piezo, actually, that I remember buying quite some time ago now from Amazon. And, well, the beauty of this is because she opens from the back, we can open the box without it being impeded by the string. So I can actually show you, right? And there we go. And if you can see in there, there's this huge piezo disc. I mean, normally they'd fit in there, more or less. But this one's really large, and I can't remember why I bought it, although I've had it a long time. I gave it a quick test, and it seemed to give a good sound. Excuse me, it's so hot in here. And so I thought, yeah, we'll go with that. You can see where I did fit the old pickup, the single coil, and if you've seen the latest community post, there's a couple of photographs on there, but basically I just cut the wire. I thought, I'm not disassembling all this, and it actually doesn't actually support the neck, but everything's in place there, so I thought I'm just going to leave it, and then that way we haven't got a great big hole in the front of the instrument. Still looks quite pretty, and yeah, basically that's it. So I've left that there, but I'll give us all a quick run through anyway. So the usual thing, resonator spring, which I've mounted into the neck. Yep. Wired in the piezo and just sort of secured the wires down with this little plastic device here that came with it. Yeah, and basically that's it. I did use a little bit of epoxy resin actually to put the sound hole grill in there, which seems to have stuck quite well. Our little arches, our little rainbow half moon supports to kind of keep the neck held down. I drilled a couple of little pilot holes and put a couple of little screws to keep the neck secure, and to fill in the gaps, our old faithful carpenter's fairy dust and wood glue, which has formed a nice solid seal on that. In fact, it was pretty much holding together on its own anyway, but I thought I would put the screws in just to keep everything nice and sort of level really, and just where you want it to be. The beauty of having the piezo is this particular one, in any case, did come with a volume control. So yeah, we've got the addition now of a rather funky volume dial, little cupcake shape volume dial on top of the Diddley Bow, because basically that was the best place to put it. I think it looks pretty cool nonetheless. And yeah, that's about it. So moving swiftly on, we did have in the comments a request to explain a little bit more about how to set the fret positions basically, or the finger positions, on a 24-inch scale, because I know like standard guitars, if I can use that phrase, generally are around 25 and a half, I think, and these are a little bit shorter. 24, as we know, is great because, you know, two 12s going at 24. So to find your 12 fret position is quite easy. It's 24 inches between the nut and the bridge, and if you just measure 12 inches, that's your first octave, and that's your 12 fret position more or less, which goes from like, and that sounds about right to me. The other three markings that we generally use on here on a Diddley Bow is the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th. And you will notice that I played in with quite a well-known rock tune there by a very well-known rock band, name of Deep Purple. And the name of the tune is Smoke on the Water. I think that is the generally accepted easiest way to set up the fret positions on cigar box instruments. I know a lot of people would agree. Now there is another method you can use, as I say, by measuring where the 12th is, taking a piece of string that goes from the nut to the bridge, fold it in half, obviously you've got your 12th on whatever the scale you're using. But then there's some system of, you need to fold it into thirds and do something, and I got totally confused when I tried that method many years ago. And I must admit, I've been listening to Deep Purple since I was about 12 years old, so I was very familiar with Smoke on the Water, and was probably able to play that on one string by the time I was a teenager. So that's the method I go with. I'm sure there are videos on YouTube that show you how to use this piece of string measuring method. Like I say, I couldn't really work it out, so I'll show you the way I know anyway. And it is pretty easy, even if you're not sort of too familiar with that song or where the fret positions are, because there's an easy way to find it. So if I just play the first part of it again, so it's simply just an open string to start, so it's just like da 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 da, and then you go up da 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 da. So it is open 3rd, 5th, open 3rd, 7th, 5th. So you actually overshoot it and then come back. Open 3rd, 5th, 3rd, open. And if you play around with that a bit, and if you listen to the Deep Purple song, unfortunately I can't play it in the background because of, you know, copyright and stuff. But if you just listen to that a few times and just play along with it, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong at first, because very soon you'll get it right, and then you can play Deep Purple songs, you know, and then you're a rock star, you know, within about 10 minutes. So yeah, I think all round that's probably the most fun way of doing it. And basically then all you're going to really need to do is mark the positions. So again, the traditional way, sorry for diving off camera there, is to take a pencil and just mark it as you go. So open, if you're not quite sure, just slide in. We know it's about there. Just take your pencil and draw a tiny little cross or make a dot on that position and start again. That's about the 2nd note, so that'll be your 5th. Just put another little cross mark on there like that. And then again open, 3rd, and then up to the 7th. Which is about there. And back to the 5th. Open again, 3rd, 5th, then back to the 3rd, and finally the open string. And really that's all you need on a diddley bow. You will find the other positions as you play things, and I think a reason why Smoke on the Water is a popular tune is because you can play just about anything you want on one of these in those positions. So yeah, again, playing 3rd, 5th, 7th and 12th, just kind of like make it up as you go along. There's a simple one. Or just, so basically, yeah, that's just open, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, open. And that's it, just play about between those positions as well. The beauty of playing with a slide is if you do miss it, you can just slide in a bit. So say you land a bit short, so you land there, you can just slide in and play it loud and you can't go wrong. So yeah, basically that's how I would do it, and that will work for any scale length that you want to use really. I do like 24. I tend to tune up in 23, like tends to be my most used scale really. I don't know why particularly, but I do like sort of 23 inch. I think I like the sound of it. Just kind of, you know, the size of the instrument that accommodates that. But as you know, we've got a floating bridge, you can always go up and down. And excuse me, it's hot in here today. And yeah, just as I say, make it up as you go along really. So that's basically her unplugged, and yeah, I think she does have quite a nice sound, but of course we want to hear her plugged in, don't we? And I've very briefly had her plugged in, but I've not really given her a go with little Roland. So without further ado, little Roly is here and he's ready and waiting to give us a little jam on this. I've not really set the amp up particularly skillfully. I just started with everything on midday, so everything at the top basically, about halfway, and just twiddled a couple of things. But yeah, we'll plug him in, switch him on. Just in from the top. Sounded pretty good. And we'll see what we've got. And there you go, all electric Diddley Bow, very nice. And I know I will be having some fun with this one, I'm sure, over the next couple of days. One thing I forgot to do was sort of run through the neck, so we'll do that quickly now. As you can see, I had these copper fittings, I guess they're some kind of plumbing fittings, that I bought sometime, and I gave them a bit of a polish actually, and they just happily seem to fit nicely over the ends of the pole. So I thought we'll put those on, it gives it a bit of a steampunk look, I think, and I quite like that. As you can see, there's a transparent cover on here. This is set at a slight angle because to to basically fit that little lug in. It was coming right to the end, and I thought, I don't really want it that close, so like I just altered it slightly so we could put it a bit further in. And I quite like that. I think it looks quite funky. Just a standard hose clip. Yeah, bolted in. The usual. Tensioned at the top with a screw, just to give it that sort of angle. And yeah, that's about it really. Floating bridge. So if you do get tired of 24, you can go up to 23. Or you could probably bring it down to about 25. And you know, you could play around like that. Find the scale lengths that you like. And yeah, basically, that's it. You know, the world's your oyster with these. As we know, there are no rules. So you set the rules. It's your instrument. You built it. You're a rock star. And I tell you, there's nothing like it. If it's like, if you're building your first ever instrument, I remember the first time I struck a note on my first Diddley Bow. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just going to sound like some kid's rubber band guitar. But actually it sounded pretty good. And yeah, you know, I was bitten by the bug, as they say, ever since. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And finally we got there. The trials and tribulations, but I think it was worth it in the end. I won't put it too loud or give it too much gain because my neighbours are in and it is getting a little bit late here. But yeah, I think you'll agree. All in all, job's a good one. Okay then peeps, if you have stuck with me to the end of this one, thank you ever so much. I know it's been a long road, but we got there in the end. Whatever you're up to today, whatever time it is with you, do stay safe. As always, stay blessed. And always, keep building. Okay then peeps, bye for now. Until next time, bye.